Good afternoon. Today we're going to go over this week's options watch list. Before I get into the watch list, if you're not in the room, you can find the link in the description of the video and in my bio section of social media accounts. Also, please like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Now, looking at the put to call ratio right now, it's really nothing exciting. It's at 0.56, so it's right smack in the middle, so it's nothing to get excited about. Now, looking at the economic calendar for the week, if it loads. Monday is today. Obviously, it's the market is closed, so there's no news. Tuesday, we have ISM manufacturing at 10 o'clock. Wednesday, we have JOLTS jobs openings at 10. Thursday, we have unemployment claims. We have ISM services at 10. Friday, we have unemployment rate, so not a lot. JOLTS being the biggest one, obviously. So, yeah, with that said, I mean, SPY has just been buying the dips all week long, and we don't usually get that many red days. And we get a red day, it gets bought back up, and we just slow grind to all-time high. I mean, look at the size of these candles. These candles are puny. We get bearish divergences going on for a while. We've got it right here. Prices making higher highs, RSI is making lower highs, histograms making lower highs. The bearish divergence has been going on since July, end of July, and weekly we get it right here. It's been divergent for a long time on the weekly, but divergences doesn't mean you can go in and just buy puts and just think it's gonna dump and you're gonna catch the top, because that doesn't work that way. Divergences can take they can take days, they can take weeks, they can take months. All you gotta do is look at Baidu and Roku, and they lasted. I was talking about a dump for those particular stocks for like months, and it just felt like I was just beating a dead horse. Bad analogy, but I just kept talking about it every week, and it just not happening. Then boom, I think I stopped talking about it because I was just talking about it so much, and then it dumped hard. Ended up dumping. I think Roku dumped from like 400 to 90 or 50 or something like that, and Baidu did the same thing. It was a couple hundred and just cut in half. Yeah, so they take a long time for divergences to work. You just don't know when they're going to work. So yeah, SPY, I mean, we'll just watch both sides. We'll just play it based off from pre-market. That's all you can do at this point, is look at pre-market's actions and play off from that, because you can't really predict what's going to happen. The dips have been getting bought aggressively. At some point, they're going to not buy the dip, and we're going to have a dump. But until that happens, the scenario is just that they're going to keep buying the dip. So with that said, we get over all-time high, which we probably will. We got a gap to fill right here at 648. We're going to go to 650, 660 very, very easily. SPY loves to overshoot and undershoot levels. So if we do break all-time high, we're not going to go to exactly 650 or 649.99. We're going to end up going to like 653 or 652, then we'll dump or something if we do. And on the downside, we got a gap to fill down here at 636. So if we do manage to lose this 642 area, we got a gap to fill down here. There's tons of gaps to fill on the downside at 602, it's 572, 533. I mean, it feels like just to get down to 600, you'd need like a nuclear war to happen just to lose 40 points. I mean, it's just you just can't get in the market to pull back for anything. It's just straight up and a little bit of a breather candle and straight back up again. So with that said, VIX was getting low until Friday's drop. Then VIX popped a little bit. So yeah, we were down here to $14 and it popped to 16. So the thing you need to be careful with VIX is that lately, the past year or so, you get these VIX shenanigans where when VIX gets really, really, really low, the market makers will do some tricky shenanigans where they'll gap VIX up with SPY. They'll both gap up together, and SPY will pull back just a tiny bit, and VIX will pop a little bit at open. Then SPY will rage, and that gives more room for VIX to drop. Or what ends up happening is SPY will pull back just a tiny bit intraday. VIX will pop a lot on that small drop, more than it should. And then SPY will reverse and VIX will start dropping. So you got to be careful. VIX gets very tricky when it's down here low like this. They'll do whatever they can to get VIX to go a little bit just so they can keep grinding SPY up. So because VIX can only go so low. VIX is not a stock. It measures volatility. So it doesn't go to zero. VIX is like a coiled spring. That's the best explanation for VIX. When you push hard on a car spring, like we'll just use a car spring. When you push down on a car spring, the more you compress the spring, the more violent it's going to do when you let off, because it's just VIX works the same way when it's compressed to a certain number, being lately 14 or 12. Once it gets to this 12 area, it's compressed down here too long. It pops, and it gets down here, it's compressed too long, it pops. I mean, it's just how it works. So always use the analogy that the further VIX is compressed, the more violent the pop's going to be. VIX, the last time I've seen VIX really, really low was the Obama era, which was VIX would get underneath 10, and sometimes you'd see 9, but that was because the range of the day was like 50 cents. It was really ridiculous. But lately, they've been around 14, 13, and 12's been the hard floor for a very, very long time. I mean, we can go out 5 years, and you can see, yeah, it's been 14, 12's been like the longest. Just go out a little more just to try to make a point. 10 years. Yeah, down here, this is during Obama right here. It was down to under 9 right here. This was normal back then, because then it was back to 12. This 12 has been a really hard floor for a long time. This was just unusual for it to get underneath 10. But yeah, remember, it's a compressed spring, and it pops violently when it gets compressed too long. So with that said, VIX, I mean, I just went over the shenanigans to look out for this week on that. So Disney is one to watch. It gets up to this 120 area. It doesn't like being up here, and it's somehow staying close to the 120. But I know I'd kind of watch it underneath, 115. We lose 115. We get gaps to fill down here at 107 and under 100. So we could see some gap fills down here if we get under 115 on Disney. And you get like a head and shoulders. You get the left, the head, and the right shoulder. So 115, 111 or 112 is going to be pretty much the weird shoulder on the trend line for the head and shoulders right here on Disney. So definitely keep an eye on that. Apple is another one. It looks like it wants to pop a little bit. So if it does manage to get over 634, we could probably see a push to 640, 240, not 640. My mind's still on SPY. 240 to 250 on Apple. So definitely keep an eye on Apple. It does manage to break that. And we were talking about Roku earlier. Roku does not like up here. It gets to 100 and it ends up crapping the bed. Roku just can't seem to stay above 100. So I would keep an eye on it up here. Maybe it taps 100. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it's done already. But I would watch it underneath 95 for push back down to the 80s. And if we lose 80, I mean 70, back to 60 again. So Roku does not like it up here at all. So definitely keep an eye on Roku. Tesla is the last one. Tesla, you know, it rejected the 350 area, came back down, but this trend line right here, it could be back testing this 333 area, and maybe we pop again, get over the 350 and rip. We'll have to see, but would keep an eye on Tesla in both areas, over 350 and under 320. That's going to be the two areas to watch Tesla, but I'm thinking that we're back testing this area, and that we're going to get above 350 and pop. But I mean, doesn't mean it will happen. We could lose 320 and we come back down to the 300 area. So Tesla's got two nice areas to watch, so mark them out and watch those two areas. But anything in between, I really wouldn't touch. So that's going to do it for the watch list, and thanks for watching.